Oh man, finally figured out how to find where my recently deleted files were and permanently delete them. My iPhone storage was saying it was full and I deleted all kinds of stuff, but it still holds them in storage and counts it toward your storage, you know? So I finally was able to find all that stuff and delete it. Maybe I can actually make a video now without it cutting off. I am supposed to be at work today. It's my day off this week. And got up this morning, cooked a nice breakfast, had some fried potatoes and scrambled eggs and some toast. And I'm sitting there eating my breakfast, and my acting supervisor called and said, I guess there's some CCA or somebody holding down my T6's job while he's on vacation. So they'll be doing my route today, so they don't need me. How sad. I don't mind the day off, but I was kind of looking forward to getting the 8 hours of overtime, you know. And not like I have a lot of exciting stuff going on right now with my wife in the Philippines. Worst thing though is if I'd known I was off today, I would have skipped breakfast, you know. I usually don't bother eating breakfast if I'm off. I figured I'd eat a nice breakfast today, and then I wouldn't have to worry about finding anything for lunch later, get me through the day until I came home and ate dinner, you know. It's a lot easier for me if I'm off to just skip breakfast. But here I am. Yeah, I been catching up on a TV series. Uh-oh. Here's one of my friends. Oh, how are you doing? No, I'm just making a video. You want to be in my video? This is our friend.
Hi.
This is our friend
I work
Aaron. Yeah. How are you doing?
Good, how are you doing?
Great.
How's Mabel?
Doing great, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, they just went over to Cebu City today. They're going to like the Marine Land place and stuff
she
over
was
there.
telling me how they were planning on doing that.
Yeah, so yeah, they're having fun.
All right.
Yeah, nice.
I just ran over, I gotta go back.
Oh yeah, see, it helped you get some exercise. Yeah, yeah, I was going. All right, thanks. That was our friend Erin. I'll go ahead and leave that in here. Yeah, you may have seen her before in a little short I did at Sushiyama. With she works with my wife. Actually, only very limited part-time now. She's like does some park ranger stuff too. She's had like 2 or 3 different jobs, and now she mainly works over here now. It's like a park ranger here at Altamont here. So that's nice to see her. She misses my wife. They're good buddies. But yeah, it's kind of funny catching up on this old series. It's called Lieutenant Joe Kenda, Homicide Hunter. And I've seen some of the shows like, you know, what was it, American Detective, Homicide Hunter on the ID channel, which I think stands for Investigation Discovery or something. And they talks about you know, different murder cases and all of that. And this other series was an earlier thing where it's basically just focused on his cases. He used to be the head of the major investigation unit, I guess, in Colorado Springs. So I found that is available to stream on Max, and kind of got started watching all those. I decided to go back to episode 1 and start watching them all again, you know. And it was interesting. I think the episode 5 of the first season, it was about a Filipina who got murdered, and she apparently had been doing some scamming. She was married to this American Air Force officer, worked at NORAD, and I guess they had met here in Florida, actually, and got married even though she was originally from the Philippines. They met here in the States. And they both had, I think, 1 child from her previous relationships. And then I think they had a kid together, too, you know. And she was always out, like, running around getting involved with these Filipino guys at the local, like, I guess NCO club or enlisted. No, I guess the enlisted people's club there. These different areas with guys in the army who were from the Philippines, and she would make connections with these guys, end up having sexual relationships with them, and then she would start trying to get money out of them. I guess different things. Tell them she was going to go to their commanding officers about stuff, and this one guy in particular, she told him that she was pregnant and she wanted $1,000 to get an abortion. And then she went ahead and actually stole his dress uniform and was holding it hostage until he paid her the $1,000, And her husband knew she was having relationships with all these people. And the amazing, that's what's amazing to me, that guys will put up with this shit, but they do it. I don't know. You can't put yourself in somebody else's shoes, really, I guess. But he apparently had confronted her about it and told her to end that lifestyle, and she's like, yeah, okay, yeah, yeah, whatever. But she showed up at this guy's house. They agreed to meet, give him back his uniform, get the $1,000. And of course, she showed up and didn't bring the uniform anyways. But he'd had enough of her bullshit, I guess, and he ended up strangling her with a pair of pantyhose. And then there was this whole elaborate plot, how he was going to get rid of the evidence and have his one big dumb friend help him out get rid of the body. And they had this elaborate scenario planned where they were going to put this brick on the accelerator and pour an accelerant over the seats and everything and set it on fire. And I guess he was supposed to take her out of the trunk and put her in the front seat, and make it look like she crashed, drove into all this big heavy equipment at this construction site, and it burst into flames, which they thought was going to happen since that's what happens in the movies. But of course, his friend, who was not very bright, ended up leaving her body laying there in the trunk, with the pantyhose wrapped around her neck and everything. And so anyways, they ended up getting caught. But it was interesting. This was back in like 1985. Shows the scammer lifestyle is definitely not a new thing. She was just a happy, carefree girl running around, partying, dancing, and hooking up with other guys. Any of you who are involved with a Filipina, married to someone, and have a lot of connections with people in the Filipina community here in America, I'm sure you know people just like her. I know people like her. I know this one guy, I don't know how he puts up with the shit from his wife. A lot of people speculate that maybe he just feels like he's not going to find something better or whatever. And I guess she gives him what he wants. But if you say anything to her about her lifestyle, then she flips out on you, and like you're the problem, not her, We're all supposed to be happy for her that she's living this crazy lifestyle and taking advantage of people like that. But there's a lot of girls like that. And certainly it's nothing new, hooking up with American service members. And there was an episode of Forensic Files talked about this case over in the Philippines, where this guy, he was having an affair with some local Filipina. I can't remember now if he was involved with it too or not, or if it was just her doing it on her own. Lured his wife out somewhere and killed her. Some of her relatives, cousins or whatever, that she was involved with. Very cheap. I don't know, maybe she gave him a 6-pack or something to kill this guy's wife. And that's the kind of stuff that happens. Whenever you get involved with somebody from the Philippines, there's a reason why all your friends and family and coworkers all start telling you, oh my God, not really. Or you're doing that? Don't you know what those people are after? And it's a long-standing tradition, So that's something that you need to think about. Everybody talks about scammers over there, and including a lot of us who have happy relationships for quite a while, because it does happen. And when people tell you to be careful about this stuff, there's a reason for it, They They say there's no fool like an old fool, and you see a lot of these older guys that get involved with these young hot girls over there in the Philippines, especially some of the people who retire. Expats move over there and they think they're going to find, this wonderful romance with some hot young brown chick, and live out their childhood dreams, that they never lived out in their earlier life. But now that they're retired in their 60s, 70s, now they think they're going to do it. And sometimes it doesn't go too well, But it happens to a lot of younger guys too. It's not just Filipinas, but obviously that's more what my channel is focused on. You don't know what you're getting into. It's always a leap of faith when you fall in love with anybody, And there's a reason why some of these guys, they have the attitude, well, you know what? I know that most of them are probably just looking to use me, so I'm just gonna use as many of them as I can and keep everything to myself, not share my money, not let them get their fingers on anything that belongs to me, because instead of being scammed and taken advantage of, since I know that's what they're trying to do, I'll just use them. And that's not the best attitude either, but you can understand why some guys are like that. So be careful. It's not something new, the whole Filipina scammer thing. And yet, you can find true love and happiness. That's what's crazy, For all the scammers, there's still a lot of really good people. And a lot of us are very happy with our lives since we ended up involved with somebody from the Philippines. But with anybody's life, no matter who you're involved with, life is a day-to-day thing, You have to keep putting the effort into it, and you have to appreciate each day that you have. That's one thing too, you hear people talk about, why should somebody older get involved with somebody young? And you think, well, how many years are you going to have with them and things like that? But an awful lot of people who get in relationships, even when they're young, they don't have very many years together, I think back to my first marriage very long ago, things like that. It's not like that lasted forever, So you never know how long you're going to have with somebody, what's going to happen in your life, how long they're going to be here, how long you're going to be here. There are older guys who get involved with younger women, and much to their sadness, it's the younger woman who ends up having some kind of issue and isn't here anymore. And they thought, maybe they've been through loss before in their life, and they thought, well, man, I get involved with somebody this young, I'm never going to have to worry about going through that again, I won't have to be here and go through that loss again because they're so much younger than me. They're going to be around after me. And then, just because, you never know what's going to happen. So, while it's nice to think about the future and make plans and try to be logical and reasonable about things, you also have to live your life and enjoy it. There's no point in being here if you're not enjoying your life. You just have to, kind of like that Tin Cup movie, sometimes you just have to grip it and rip it and see what happens.